You're either going to ride on the back of the beast and it's going to serve you, or it's going to crush you. And the whole point is that we create archetypal harmony. We create the Lucifer redemption within our own being by marrying the Christ Sophia energy within us and honoring the fact that that divine blueprint is organic within all of us. We heal everything in here, and it changes the rest of creation. Everything on a macro level is a direct replica of our DNA and of the spectrum of frequency, which is a 15-dimensional chakra system. So we are capable within our own bodies to take care of everything we need to take care of. So the adversity is going to give us the strength that we need, the immunity we need, and unity consciousness is the global immune system that's going to create a massive exorcism. So yay,
Thank you.
let's get excited.
Thank you. Okay. One last question, and then maybe we'll take some questions. But I'm interested in the evolution. What do you feel human destiny is? We've been talking about it, but is the golden age just a carrot that's been held in front of us? Or is it a possibility that we can truly come into a new world? And let's go down the panel. James, what do you see as human destiny and our evolution?
I think human destiny is individual. Basically, it's all about individual choice and where we choose to go. As a collective, it's unstoppable. We're going to join the greater family of man. That's in the books. You know, we're going to join our higher dimensional beings and the ETs, and we're going to awaken to our own divinity. That's the end result. How we get there, how soon we get there, is individual choice. And so basically it's not an option because the Earth's going there. And so if you're going to be on the Earth, you're going to have that experience. If you choose to check out and go to another place, you can continue with the same programs you're running now. And you're loved unconditionally no matter what. You just don't have access to the bliss and the joy. So I know what's available right now. I mean, we have unlimited energy. We have replicators. We have all of these things on the planet right now. There's no reason for lack for anything. There's no reason for the war and disease profiteers to continue. I mean, all this stuff is available now, but are we going to stand up and take it and make it happen? And that's the bottom line. Are we going to stand tall in our own divinity and take our planet back and bring out these energies and put an end to all the pain and suffering and the other things? Or are we going to sit back and be a victim? You know, I'm all for planetary liberation and standing up and just not participating in the nonsense anymore. It's so transparent. You know, Obama did give us transparency. You can't miss it. If you're just not paying attention, you know, so if you miss it. So everything is transparent. You know, it's obvious now. What are we going to do about it? You know, that's the bottom line. So that's
what are we going to do about it? What do you suggest?
The bottom line is don't participate in anything that's harmful to humanity and the Earth. Anything that doesn't align with unity consciousness, don't participate in it. Just step out of it. And it's inevitable. The ninth wave the Mayans are talking about that's hitting us right now is unity consciousness. And when you're in unity consciousness, you don't do things that harm humanity and the Earth. It's not part of that reality. So we're in that wave now. It's unstoppable. All these other beings have been waiting for this event. And again, we've got 11th dimensional ships that just came in, and they're parked right outside our system here. And their force and their consciousness and their energy is available to anybody who chooses to connect with these beings. So it's up to us to initiate that and to make that possible. And again, what they're going to do is they're going to ignite you to step into your own divinity. You know, these 17-foot tall lion beings that have been appearing lately, you know, they're here to encourage the lion within each and every one of us to find our own inner lion. And they're not here to be feared or worshipped or anything else. They want to remind us that we are lion beings. We have a lion within us, and we had to step into courage and make that happen.
Thank you. Laura, do you want to talk about what you see the future, the ultimate future?
I think we have to recognize that, you know, we are incredible healers. Nature only knows to heal. When you cut yourself, you don't have to say, form a scar, heal, damn it. It does it. You know, our bodies naturally want to bring us equilibrium and balance. Nature has regenerative powers. You know, working with the outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, we don't have a whole lot of control over the initiations they put us through, but if we can create, positive relationship and co-create with it, it helps us to unfold into something magnificent. We have to accept breakdowns that lead to breakthroughs. We have to accept, physical symptoms and thank our bodies for delivering the messages. Screw the medical industry that calls it disease and names it with all these like horrible names that are disempowering, that make us feel like we're carrying afflictions, and all these projections and diagnoses on our mental health and our emotional bodies. And it's bad enough dealing with trolls and, just being smeared, let alone, just trying to get through high school, being told you have ADD. It's like, excuse me, I put together a lot of presentations. My brain works. Thanks for that stigma that I've been trying to shake for all this time. The whole deal is it's just like, it's the FU therapy. And I'm sorry if that, is derogatory, but it's not. It's just like, get the hell out of my space. You do not run my being. You're not in charge of me. My body has an intelligence that is designed for me to grow and to prosper and to transform and to thrive and to develop a really positive relationship instead of feel foreign to things that might not feel right or seem right, is not going to serve us. So what I see is greater mastery, greater confidence in our healing powers and abilities, and taking the word fear and understanding that fear really means there's aspects of yourself you haven't awoken to yet. Because if they are awakened aspect, you wouldn't be in fear. We know exactly what we're handling. Fear is just that moment of, I don't know if I can handle it. But then we realize that we're more equipped than we can imagine. And this is this amazing discovery. We all have to support one another. We all have gifts for one another. And what I see is this organic ascension, maybe a bifurcation. Maybe people will have to experience that artificial timeline. But there's always going to be spirit guides. There's always going to be rescue missions. Nobody's ever going to be abandoned. The unconditional love of the mother created this particular planetary body to help us rehabilitate as souls and to come together. And she will never, ever let us down. And there's never any abandonment in the universe. So, the currency is love. We're abundant beings. And it's time to not fear our symptoms, our bodies, the adversities in life. It's time to allow our mastery training to take us to the highest levels of consciousness.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Graham, yes, please.
So the question is the human future, right?
The future destiny. And
yeah.
actually,
There's an idea out there in the world at the moment called transhumanism, which I have to confess that I really detest. I think it's a really repulsive idea. It's about using technology to make ourselves immortal, even about downloading human consciousness into computers. It's all about technology and matter and material things. Personally, I find the idea of immortal life in this body, even if enhanced by technology, extremely boring and unattractive. See, all the ancient wisdom tells us that we already have a system for that. It's called reincarnation. We get to come back and learn lessons that this planet has to teach. And a crucial part of that is learning those lessons in different circumstances. The pack of cards is shuffled and you're born into a new life with no memory of the life before, and you may find yourself in totally different circumstances than you were in before. You're going to learn from that experience. To me, the transhumanist idea is going to cut that sacred process to pieces and substitute for it a technological nightmare. So I really can't be doing with that as the human future. Under any circumstances, I see the fundamental need for humanity to reconnect with spirit. This is the problem. This is the error that we have made. We have allowed our technological accomplishments and our material abundance to blind us to the deeper and more complex nature of reality. We are spirit. And if we are not spirit, then we're nothing except meat. It's the spirit part of us that matters, and somehow we have been persuaded to disconnect from the most important part of ourselves. That's the mission, to reconnect with spirit.
And once we do, once we reconnect, what do you see as the embodiment of the culture, as the progression?
I see a culture that we can have it now. First of all, we're having all this talk, but let's remember that there are hundreds of millions of people on this planet who are living in desperate privation and poverty. There are hundreds of millions who are facing starvation every day of their lives. And we are doing sweet fuck all about that. We're doing nothing about that. In fact, we're getting really upset about refugees. They're fellow human beings, brothers and sisters just like us, but we want them out. We don't want them entering into our space. I think that the human race has got to start dealing with problems like this. We are all brothers and sisters. We are here to love. While we disconnect from spirit, we will not do so. If we can reconnect, then I think the future for humanity can be a beautiful journey, an adventure and exploration radiant with love. And what else would we want?
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Desiree.
want to say one thing. I'm gonna borrow a UFO and abduct Hillary Clinton and shoot her up with some ayahuasca this weekend.
That's a good idea. That I agree with. Yes.
So, I personally believe that we have infinite potential, each one of us. And we are making choices right now, each person, as to what that really means. And it really does mean a unity of spirit, an understanding of spirit. I think what we're seeing in the Middle East right now, which is very critical, and as Graham said, going into Europe, is the fact that we were separate individuals, we were separate cultures, and this is changing rapidly. It has to change. It's almost like going back to how the unity of the culture will come together that Reagan said, you know, when we're confronted with other levels of intelligence. Well, the planet is pushing us to that. It's pushing us into an understanding of our own spiritual unity. And so that's part of who we are going to be. And yes, our potential is to be light energy. As we discussed, our potential is to be pure love energy, unconditional love energy. So any aspect of that that you can work with in your personal life, I think will bring you to that next phase of reality.
Thank you, Desiree Hertog. Dr. J.J. Hertog.
I'm wearing this special belt from the shamans in Brazil because they want you to know that they're waiting for you to join with them and realizing that the star nations are coming. They are here, and we must not intellectualize and get into all sorts of the abstracts of things in some distant future. The future is here. We are embryo gods waking up to who we are. We must stand tall, and we must be generous. The story of Jesus saying to his disciple, be born again, means to go back to the womb of the mother, to discover the divine mother within ourselves. And to bring this forth through the feminine and masculine in harmony on the highest of vibrations is going to do wonders in this age of inner spirituality and great miracles. So prepare ourselves, fasten our seatbelts, because we're going to go into this quantum change now very, very quickly. And we must do this unconditionally and lovingly. That's the whole vademecum. That's the whole capsule that we must take as spiritual beings.
You know, some years ago, I woke up from a dream and I heard the word homo luminous, or the two words homo luminous, as being where we're going, beings of light. And in truth, that's who we are. We're beings of light. And when we look back at some of these great holy figures, we actually see the artists draw these coronas of light. These are activations of their auric field at such a high level. You know, we call them halos, you know, and then we made them like this little round laurel leaf over their heads. But what they really are that the purity of that being's auric field is resonating at such a high level that it has transcended the physical body. And so it's seen as a corona of light around it. And I think that's where we're going, myself personally. Now, one of the things we really have to remember is that the laws of the different dimensions are different. In this dimension, we have 48 laws that must be obeyed unless you are like a yogi or a shaman and you know how to transcend them. In the astral plane, the fourth dimension, there's only 24 of these laws. So telepathy is normal, you know, teleportation based on thought, being able to change your appearance, stay longer, it's normal. In the fifth dimension, there are only 12 of these laws. In the sixth, there are 6, and the seventh, there are 3. So manifestation is much quicker. We've all noticed that we can normally manifest a parking place, except at Contact of the Desert maybe, but you know, with our thoughts quicker. That when we do something bad, it comes back to us much quicker karmically. If we do something good, we hold these good thoughts, we manifest much quicker. This is because the vibration is accelerating. All of matter is accelerating as we're slowly moving up. So the laws of physics are starting to soften, let us say. We have more access. And this is, we were talking about how there are eras in which magic is possible. Telekinetic ability to move things with our minds. These are all natural gifts that we have when we are vibrating at this higher frequency. And so we have to say to ourselves, what am I creating in my life now with my thoughts? Am I creating health or, disharmony or, ease or dis-ease? Am I creating positive relationships, or am I all involved in drama over and over and just like an old record? How many times have we experienced that? What are we manifesting now? Because what's going to happen to us when we go up into the fourth and we're able to manifest much quicker? How about the fifth? Oh my God. So this is why we have to earn it, because otherwise it is dangerous. All those thoughts of hate and, illness and division and stuff, we see them playing out on our planet now, and it's crazy making. So we ourselves have to practice finding that center within us and connecting with that divine being that we are. And as some of the other panelists said, doing our emotional homework, clearing out the things, whether there's this lifetime or another lifetime, discovering who we are and loving every bit of it, loving all the shadow and all the light, because that's the only way we heal the shadow, is to love it. We just love it. And we realize that we're allowed to be imperfect down here. We're allowed to be human because at some level we are perfect and we are divine. And the more we can walk that and talk that with each other, to be kind to one another. That bumper sticker, kindness is my religion. And if all the religions of the world would just drop this crazy, killing one another in the name of God, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. And we still have a whole bunch of crazy Arabs, Muslims that are doing this, okay? And
every religion. Really.
Every religion. I don't mean to just be picking on them, because they're some very conscious Muslim people. But every religion seems like it's gone through its phase of centuries of murdering everybody else. Christianity is in a pretty good phase right now, thank God, and the Jews are pretty good right now, But these patriarchal religions are challenging because they don't honor that feminine aspect. So anyway, I think that we're going towards homo luminous energy, as the pharaohs believed that if they could bring their auras to such a point of unity that when they died, they would earn the right to become a star in the heavens, to become a sun, to become a lion being. Leo, the lion, the only astrological sign ruled by the sun. What are they talking about? The great initiations in Egypt, the most hidden initiations were the initiations of the panther. People who don't understand about this, and they say Jesus' name was Jesus Ben Panther. Oh, Mary must have had an affair with a Roman soldier named Panther. It's like crazy. It was Jesus, son of Ben, the Panther, Panthera, the All-Mother.
Tricia.
Theothera. Thank you.
Thank you, Tricia McCannon. Whitley, how do you see the future in our evolution?
Well, I'm going to be brief because we're coming to the end of our time together. I think that Graham made a very important point about transhumanism, because this is coming at us like an out-of-control freight train right now. I mean, really right now. There have already been some incidents in the process of developing artificial intelligence that suggest that it has succeeded. It's been done. I talked about that a little bit today, and I'll talk about it again on Sunday in a little more depth. It means, and I'm on my website, we have a daily news thing. The news comes out every day, and the other day I saw a story. I don't write it. A story from an Oxford professor proposing that artificial intelligence be granted human rights. And we laugh, but what is actually going on? If you make something intelligent, will it be ensouled somehow? Or will it simply not care when it's turned off? We don't know yet. We don't know exactly what the soul is or where it is. We know that our bodies are containers, and there's someone in here, or who's in here at least during the day. At night, often one finds not. But what if we begin to insert machinery into our brains that causes us to completely forget who we are and to be unable ever to recover that knowledge because the machine itself makes that impossible? When I had that conversation with the man I called the master of the key, the warnings about this that he expressed were the most intelligent ones I ever heard. But I don't want to leave you just with warnings, because of course there's always things to warn about. Things are always going wrong. Disasters are always on the way. Change is coming. What about right now? Let's pretend the future is right now. And that little exercise I mentioned earlier, which is so powerful, can be used as a method of ascension. It can literally be used to enable your body to vibrate at a higher and higher level until eventually the physical container and the soul are vibrating at the same level, and suddenly you're not living under that heavy weight of laws that Tricia was just talking about. You're living under the laws of the next level. And believe me, you can go. It is absolutely true. It is possible, and it's wonderful. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun to join the journey into consciousness. There's a whole colloquy out there waiting to hear from us. Raise your voices. That's the future.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you, Whitley.
In July of 1997, it was the 50th anniversary in Roswell of the crash of vehicles that were unidentified. And at that 50th anniversary, Lieutenant Colonel Philip J. Corso walked up to me and extended his hand, and he said, "I want to know how the hell you got so much government secrets." And the answer, of course, is that it isn't just the governments or the intel or the counter-intel that have access to the interactions of an alien presence. It's happening to humans, and it happened to Colonel Corso. And it was that day, at that anniversary, that we sat down and he said, "I want to tell you about what happened to me at White Sands at the Trinity site where we had exploded the first atomic bomb test in July of 1945. And he was there on some kind of an assignment for the work that he was doing for General Arthur Trudeau in the Pentagon. And he said that a being emerged where he was, and it was tall and it was thin, and as far as Colonel Corso was concerned, it was a matter being like we are, but very different to look at. And the being telepathically connected with Colonel Corso's mind very clearly. And he said, "I'm going to write in my book to you, Linda, what the being communicated to me telepathically." And he took the book I had the day after Roswell, and he applied a pen and he handed it back to me, and there standing in front of him I read the words that he had written. "There's a new world coming if you can take it." And that's where we are today.
That was the theme of my talk today. Also, yeah, Linda didn't know it, but I had the same exact experience with Colonel Corso, and it's an incredibly important phrase.
So let's take everything we've heard here tonight.
Yeah, we were together. Yeah, Linda and I were together.
And why don't we just take all the truths, all the strands of truths, all the communications from a deep place that each of these speakers have spoken from in order to share their experience with us. And let's just take a moment and just close our eyes and bring it into us so we can go back out into the world. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. It's really very nice, very opening. Well, there's a speakers meet and greet at the sanctuary now, so all these speakers will be available there, and there you can look at the program for the next 3 days. There'll be workshops and lectures and intensives on Monday. And then also at 9:30 here, there's a movie called The Hidden Hand, which has most of these speakers in it. So come back here if you go to the meet and greet, and we'll see everybody later or tomorrow. Thank you all for being a part of this. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good. I was surprisingly so. I thought.